So I wanted to go through the close range snipers. The idea here, I want to eventually put these guns on a bracket. I mean, I like the SMLE Carbine. I'm only going through 2 guns tonight. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it, man. Thank you for checking in. All right, we got 3 of y'all here. That's enough to get started. If I start 15 minutes late, everyone will leave and go home because they don't have to come to class. So, here we go. So first, it's just doing profiling 2 guns tonight. Gewehr M.95 Carbine. First category I did was sweet spot / damage. Obviously, there's no sweet spot on the Gewehr M.95 Carbine. That hampers it somewhat on this category. The maximum damage is at point blank at 90 damage, and it does its the lowest damage is 79. The minimum damage from a chest shot is 79. That hits at 120 meters. An important it's a 2-hit kill at all ranges. It's a 1-hit kill headshot at all ranges. It has a special damage multiplier, which gives it a stronger hit which makes it have stronger hits to extremities. The lower body and upper arm multiplier and the leg and forearm multiplier is buffed compared to ordinary scout rifles. So it's an important. It's only the Gewehr M.95 and the Russian trench that actually have that multiplier, and it helps them perform quite a bit better at close range compared to other scout weapons. In terms of ease of use, I give the Gewehr M.95 a 7 out of 10. It's got good hip fire, has high damage, especially close range. It's a very high fire rate for scout, so it's very forgiving on to being able to take your second shot. You're able to take that second shot much faster compared to other rifles. Because it's a carbine rifle or an infantry rifle, you can stay ADS between shots. There's no dynamic reload, meaning that you don't have to learn like a special reload pattern, or like you don't have to totally empty it. You don't have to fire 1 or 2 shots. It's going to take you the same. It's going to take you a predictable amount of time to reload regardless. Hey, AKT, good to see you. What's up, Canadian? Good to see you, my friend. It has a moderate, I'd say like a moderate muzzle velocity at 620 meters per second. And it has good accuracy and good bullet spread characteristics while you're in motion because it's a carbine variant. The cons, like all carbine and infantry rifles, like all carbine rifles, it maxes out at 2.5 times zoom. It has a moderate muzzle velocity that 620 meters per second will hinder you hitting moving targets at long range or extreme long range. It has no sweet spot. So this gun is really ideal for engagements under about 75 meters, realistically. But it's usable out to 120, maybe 150 meters. Well, it's great to see you, AKT. Thank you for being with us. Let's see, the last thing. Versatility. I give it an 8 out of 10 for versatility. And the reason for that is that it's excellent at close range. It's one of the better choices for a aggressive scout player. It's one of the best options for operations, both on the attacking and defending team. I prefer it on the attacking team. I think it's my favorite gun for attacking in operations. It still has a fast enough bullet velocity, and it has that 1-hit kill headshot at all ranges. So it gives you you can still counter snipe with it. You can counter snipe with it pretty successfully, and still get into long range engagements with it. I'll have to figure out. I'll think of something, AKT. I'll think of something for 100,000 channel points. It's also an excellent choice in 12v12 game modes, but only really on maps that favor longer range engagements. It's good for Sinai. It's decent on St. Quentin Scar. Maps like that for TDM or other small game modes. I think it's a good option. on the closer range maps, this next gun might be a better choice for you. So the Russian 1895 Trench, it gets a 6 out of 10 on sweet spot / damage, and the reason for that is because basically and I'll go through the breakdown point by point, but it's pretty anemic. It's pretty low damage at long range. Like, the problem is that the scout role, you're really supposed to be the best class at engaging people at beyond 50 meters, and beyond 50 meters, the Russian trench is not very useful. So it does between 79 damage point blank and 40 damage at max range. That max range is 80 meters. That's where the drop-off stops for this gun. It's a 2-hit kill out to 69 meters, and it has a 1-hit kill headshot out to 64 meters. It does have it has the same special damage multiplier as the Gewehr 95, so it does do more damage to the arms and legs than it would. But one thing to note, and I should go back real quick. So one important thing with the Gewehr 95 that I forgot to mention is it does a minimum of 75 damage out to 110 meters, even if you hit arms or legs. And that's because of the special damage multiplier. That's one of the things that give it a slightly better ranking than the Russian Trench, because you're going to get a lot of assist count as kills with the Gewehr 95. The Gewehr 95 is pretty much guaranteed at assist counts as kill if you hit them anywhere in the body out to, like I said, 110 meters if a teammate finishes them off. Right, in typical Canadian, this one's the Russian Trench, so it's got the super fast fire rate, the low muzzle velocity, low damage. It's very different from the other Russian variants. This is similar to like the cavalry rifle, the Russian cavalry. It has a fast time to kill for a scout rifle though at under half a second. That makes it competitive with some of the slower medic guns up close. So it makes it a decent option at medium range or close range for scout. Especially in the ranges where it has a 2-hit kill. At least in the ranges where it has a 2-hit kill and a 1-hit kill headshot. So basically, try to engage people under this 64 meter threshold if you're using the Russian Trench. In terms of ease of use, it has good hip fire. It has a very high rate of fire, which makes it forgiving for that second shot. It has good accuracy and spread while in motion. The cons, it maxes out at 2 times zoom. It has an infantry sight, so it's less zoom than the Gewehr 95 Carbine. It has a relatively slow muzzle velocity at 580 meters per second, on the slower end for scout rifles. It has no sweet spot. It has a dynamic reload, so you'll have to learn how the reload works. Basically, you need to empty the five round strip clip in order to reload 5 rounds at a time. It has a 3-hit kill at long range, which makes it very difficult because you're trying to hit at long range at anything past 69 meters, and you're gonna have to hit 3 hits with a rifle that has a muzzle velocity of 580 meters per second. You're going to be dealing with significant bullet drop, and you have to hit 3 out of 5 shots at that range. So it's I'd say difficult to use successfully at long range. And that 2-hit kill headshot is the most disappointing thing ever. Like, having played with the gun a fair bit, speaking from experience, seeing a headshot hit marker and not getting a kill with a scout rifle, it's tough, man. You don't want that. You want a 1-hit kill headshot. So that's costing it in kind of both of these categories, to be honest. In terms of versatility, it's excellent at close range. It's an excellent choice for aggressive scout play, but as we've gone through, it suffers greatly at long range, especially anything over 69 meters. And those are the ranges where your teammates are counting on you to be able to counter snipe and counting you to be at your best as a scout player. I'd say it's usable for operations on most types of maps, but yeah, your maps with longer with longer ranges, you'll often be out-sniped by enemy scouts. And it is an excellent choice. Where it does shine, in my opinion, is in 12v12 game modes, and especially maps that favor close-range engagements. It's probably the best scout gun if you have to be close range. But on the other side, it gives up quite a bit in versatility for that, because of the low damage at long range and the slow muzzle velocity. So total combined score, I give it 17 out of 30. So here's a quick direct comparison on the some of the stats we were just talking about. This is so damage over distance. You can see the Gewehr starting out with very high damage out to, whoops, want to go back here. Didn't want to go to this yet. Starting out at like 90 damage, and then as we spoke, dropping to like 79 at max range. If you were to watch if this graph were to continue, it would flatline. I don't know, like I think like 120-ish meters, somewhere in there. The minimum damage on the and you can see here is a 40 damage with the Russian trench at just beyond like 70-ish meters. That makes it a 3-hit kill at these ranges. If you have bullets to kill upper bound, you can see that shift here at about 70 meters. The time to kill, the Russian trench, you hear again, you can see it has a competitive time to kill, like much better than the Gewehr. Much better than the Gewehr, out to about 70 meters. Impure King, I think it's I do think it's the better. I think the Gewehr is the better rifle myself because it's more balanced. Having said that, like the Russian trench is better at close range if you can hit your shots consistently with it. But I think in terms of like the versatility category and the way I think about making a tier list of scout rifles, the fact that it does like one niche thing better or arguably the best than other scout rifles can overcome like the major deficits on the main things you're expecting your primary weapon to do on scout. Like it does one thing really well, and I think it's good for niche situations and niche playstyles. But I think it's just like, it's not even a scout gun, really, if that makes sense. Just in terms of the way the damage works out, the way its damage drop off is and its rate of fire is, it's just basically not the same. It's sort of in a category on its own in terms of scout rifles. Whereas the Gewehr 95, it's just like the Gewehr 95 is basically like the best scout rifle you could make that doesn't have a sweet spot. It has a pretty fast bullet velocity. It's got the one-hit kill headshot everywhere, and it's got, because it's a carbine variant, it has good hip fire, and good accuracy and bullet spread while you're moving around, so you can move with it and do some run and gun with it. So I think the Gewehr gives you it's decent at close range, and then it's more balanced, and it gives you options at medium and long range. And I think it's more versatile in terms of the game types you can use it on. I class it in the A class. I think most people who play Scout are going to be made better if they're going to play better with the Gewehr 95 Carbine compared to other Scout rifles. I think that it's a very good choice for operations, especially attacking, and I think it's a good choice for most of these small game modes. Probably suffering a little on the close range maps for like TDM. Imagine like an Amiens, or somewhat on Argonne Forest. Overall it had the 22 out of 30. The Russian Trench, I class it C with 17 out of 30. And my reasoning on C is that it's more difficult with the ammo management. The low damage at long range makes it difficult to use. The reason it's on the list, the reason it's not going to be a D or an F is because I do think it is probably the best option for Scout on those small game modes, on the 12v12 game modes. Most of your engagements are at under 50 meters, and that's where this rifle does well. I think definitely on Amion, the Russian trench is playable, is actually a good gun. And I think that the scout class overall on Team Deathmatch is the scout class is not as useful in those small game modes, but I think the Russian trench is the best you can do. So I think and sometimes your team needs spot flares. So I would use I've used the Russian trench frequently on TDM, and I think it's pretty competitive. So that's sort of the first two guns. I'll probably do like a 1v1 kind of bracket sort of situation, and trying to come up with the best gun here. But those are two guns that I have some experience with and enjoy. Hey, thanks, Pure Viper. Appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna pull up the game now and actually play. I'll do a 1 minute